Imagine this, it's the year 1871. The American frontier is still wild. Cowboys and outlaws roam the West. The Civil War has ended only a few years earlier, and technology is still catching up to imagination. People read by lamplight, travel on horseback, and dream of the future, one where humans might even conquer the skies. And then, out of nowhere, a shocking newspaper story spreads. A UFO has crashed, a strange metallic craft from the heavens, carrying beings not of this earth. People are stunned. Some whisper in awe, others tremble in fear. Did we just witness visitors from another world? Well, not quite. Because what the world didn't know was that it was all one of the earliest and most brilliant UFO hoaxes in history. And here's the twist, it fooled nearly everyone. So tonight, let's go back to 1871. We'll explore the cultural climate that made people believe in UFOs before UFOs even existed, break down how this hoax spread like wildfire, and dig into what it reveals about human psychology, and our eternal fascination with the skies above. Stay with me, because this one gets weird. To understand why people believe this story, we first need to look at the world in 1871. Technology gap, airplanes weren't real yet. The Wright brothers wouldn't take flight until 1903, more than 3 decades later. But inventors were already experimenting with balloons, gliders, and strange contraptions. Newspapers loved publishing sketches of airships that might one day carry people. Imagination reality. People looked up at the sky and wondered, what if beings live up there? The Moon, Mars, Venus, these weren't just planets, they were mysterious realms. Many thought they were inhabited. The spiritual craze, spiritualism was booming in America. Seances, ghost stories, table rapping, all of it was entertainment. Believing in invisible beings wasn't weird, it was fashionable. The hunger for mystery. This was the golden age of penny press newspapers. Writers competed to publish the most shocking stories, sea monsters, buried treasure, and of course, strange things falling from the sky. If you lived back then, with no TV, no internet, and newspapers being your only source of news, wouldn't you believe just about anything that sounded convincing enough? So what exactly happened in 1871? A newspaper reported that a mysterious object had fallen from the sky in the American West. The story was written with vivid detail. A strange, metallic craft, nothing like a wagon or balloon, was found wrecked in flames. Inside, townsfolk reportedly discovered the remains of an unknown being, described as not human. Strange inscriptions were said to cover the metal, almost like alien hieroglyphs. Now remember, this is decades before flying saucers became a cultural idea. Yet the description sounds eerily modern, doesn't it? Metallic craft, unknown bodies, strange symbols. It's basically Roswell in 1871. And people believed it. Why wouldn't they? Let's break down why this hoax spread so effectively. Authority of the newspaper. Back then, if something was printed, it was assumed to be true. There was no Google to fact-check, no viral videos to debunk. The hunger for wonder. People wanted to believe in something bigger. Remember, the Civil War had left deep scars. The idea of visitors from the heavens was oddly comforting to some. Timing was science. Just a few years earlier, astronomers had stirred public excitement by claiming to see canals on Mars. Many thought Mars was a populated world. Aliens were already in the cultural conversation. Entertainment value. Newspapers thrived on sensationalism. And readers loved it. They didn't necessarily care if it was true, just that it was exciting. Do you think people back then believed it because they were naive? Or because, deep down, they wanted the story to be true? Here's where it gets even more fascinating. This 1871 story wasn't alone. It was part of a tradition of cosmic hoaxes. The Great Moon Hoax of 1835, a New York paper claimed astronomers had discovered bat-like people living on the moon. People bought the story completely. The 1896-97 mystery airships. Dozens of newspapers reported sightings of cigar-shaped airships flying across the U.S. The descriptions sound like UFOs, but decades before UFOs became a thing. The Aurora, Texas, UFO Crash, of 1897, a story eerily similar to Roswell, where a craft supposedly crashed and a being was buried in a local cemetery. To this day, people still visit Aurora hoping to find proof. So the 1871 hoax wasn't just random, it was part of a growing cultural obsession. People wanted the skies to be full of mystery. Eventually, of course, people started asking questions. Where was the wreckage? Where were the remains? Why did no other paper cover it? As it turns out, the story was pure fabrication. Just journalists trying to out-sensationalize the competition. There was no evidence, no photos, of course. Cameras weren't widely available yet, and no eyewitness accounts beyond the paper's own claims. But here's the kicker, even after it was exposed, some people kept believing it. They argued that maybe the government covered it up. Sound familiar? The 1871 hoax set the stage for everything that came later. Roswell in 1947. The flying saucer craze of the Cold War. And even today, TikTok UFO clips that go viral before anyone can prove if they're fake. We want to believe. That's the human condition. And here's a thought, maybe hoaxes like the 1871 story aren't just lies, they're reflections of our collective hopes. Our longing for contact. Our hunger for mystery. So what do we make of the 1871 UFO hoax today? On one hand, it was just another piece of yellow journalism, ink on paper, designed to sell copies. On the other hand, it tapped into something much deeper, humanity's endless fascination with what lies beyond. Maybe that's the real story here. Not the hoax itself, but the fact that people were so ready to believe. And honestly, haven't things stayed the same? Even in 2025, with smartphones and satellites and live-streamed rocket launches, people are still debating UFO sightings every single day. Studio microphone engagement. So here's my question for you. Do you think the 1871 UFO hoax was just a story, or do you think the journalists might have actually seen something, maybe even stumbled upon a real event, and later disguised it as a hoax to avoid panic? Let me know in the comments. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. And if you enjoyed this dive into history's strangest UFO tale, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and share this video with a fellow mystery lover. Because if the past teaches us anything, it's that our skies have always been full of stories, and sometimes, the truth is stranger than fiction.